Hello everyone, Jeremy here, and today I want to show you two figures from the recently released Simpsons 25th Anniversary Greatest Guest Stars series. This is a relatively new thing, and it showcases some of the celebrities that have made guest appearances on The Simpsons in their history. And these two figures here, one is a celebrity, one is not, and they're both part of Series 1. I have here Coach Homer Simpson and I have Yao Ming. And there are a few other characters in this first series that you can get. I got these from Toys R Us. There were $11.99 each. In addition to Yao Ming, you can also get Hugh Hefner, James Brown, Tom Hanks, and Kid Rock. They are all about 5 inches, give or take, in their total length. And then there's also going to be a series 2 of these collectible figures coming out in about April, and they will include Tony Hawk, Britney Spears, Mark Hamill, The Who. We got Pete John and Roger from The Who, and then we also have Maggie Simpson and her pink jumpsuit, making her look a little bit like Britney Spears. And did I say Lucy Lawless in her Xena costume? I don't know if I did, but if I didn't, yeah, she's going to be in that too. So yeah, once again, I got these $11.99 at Toys R Us, and there are also some smaller minifigure sized characters. They look exactly the same, except they're about 2 inches tall, and you can get them as a complete set for about $24. So these are just the regular size ones. Let's take a look at flipping them over on the back, and it just tells you where Yao Ming made his debut on The Simpsons. You see that he was in the episode Homer and Ned's Hail Mary Pass, which aired on February the 6th, 2005. They give you a little bio about who Yao Ming is, and then a couple scenes from the episode that he debuted in. And then we have the rest of the characters right here on the back. And as for Homer, flip him over, it tells you where this version of Homer came from, and we see that Coach Homer Simpson came from Homer and Ned's Hail Mary Pass, the same episode that Yao Ming was in, and it's the exact same scenes because it was the same episode. You know, why switch it up? So season 16, episode 8. If you're curious to see what that episode was about, you can go look that up. So let's open these up and take a closer look at each of these figures. So here's Homer in his getup, and he has in his right hand a football, and that football is attached to his hand. It cannot be removed. However, his hat can be removed, and you know, it's a fairly simple mold. It's not like Lego. There's nothing on the top of his head to keep the hat there. But yeah, he still has his comb over in the front, and of course the little bit of hair in the back. And there's also a little bit of articulation, just a little bit. He can move a little bit in his waist from the center point, and he moves slightly to the left, only so slightly, not really that big of a deal. And then also his arms are articulated as well. So if you want to put him in kind of like a football pose, kind of hold him over to the side, move his head, have his hand up a little bit like that, and yeah, you can get a pretty decent pose out of him. He can look like he's about to throw the ball. Let's put his hat back on. There we go. I think that's on right. Let me see. There we go. So yeah, a little bit of articulation, not too much, but enough to be posable. The whistle is it's just attached to him, much like the football is. And as I'm looking over him, as far as the paint detail goes, and NECA made these toys, which they usually do a pretty good job when it comes to recreating action figures and collectible toys and everything. They usually look quite well. I'm looking over at Homer, and the paint on him is not bad at all. I can see that there is like a little bit of a line, maybe about right there, where it looks like it goes almost like a surgical cut, like from here to here, and it sort of just goes around to the other side, almost like a Terminator type thing, almost as if you can take his face completely off, which of course you can't, but that is one little imperfection. I'm nitpicking, but that's one thing that I can see. His paint on his fingers and on his head seems to be pretty well done. Of course not perfect, but okay. There's some like a little bit of paint rub off there on the top of his head. We can probably get that off fairly easily. But this figure, as far as the paint goes, is not very complicated because he's wearing this sweat suit basically, so it can be all just one solid color as opposed to needing to use a bunch of different colors to capture a bunch of detail. But from what I can see, yeah, it's a nice looking football. I like how Homer's brow is just sort of furrowed a little bit, almost like he's really serious about, he's about to throw this ball. He's not necessarily smiling. He sort of is, but depending on the angle that you look at it, it almost looks like he's using his serious face. So yeah, pretty cool figure. I like him. And now let's take a look at Yao Ming. And here is Yao Ming wearing the same thing that he wore in the episode. He's got his name on his hoodie here, and the basketball is attached to his hand, much like the football is attached to Homer's hand. And Yao Ming, is a very simple character. The only points of articulation that he has, much like Homer, he can rotate at the waist, but he can go much further. You just look at that, and you can turn him all the way around, like that. With Homer, he wasn't he was much more resistant than Yao Ming was. Maybe if you worked Homer a little bit, you can get his waist to articulate even further than what I showed. But to me, that was like a hard stopping point, and I didn't want to twist him too much. But Yao Ming can apparently twist all the way around, and his arms are fully 360 degrees articulatable, and his head can be moved as well. So yeah, he's very, very simple as far as Yao Ming is concerned. I guess if you wanted to, you could kind of make it look like he's going for, I don't know, maybe a dunk or something, but his legs do not articulate individually, so you couldn't get him in like a jumping pose or anything like that. But yeah, he looks, I say, just as good as Homer as far as the paint goes. Really nice representation, recreation of Yao Ming, the real person. And let's just turn him over on the back. I like the paint on his shoes. And aside from just very, very small nitpicking imperfections, like right there, looks like a little bit of chip paint, but this is only stuff that you see if you look really, really hard. So yeah, that's Yao Ming. And yeah, he's a nice displayable figure, I think. All in all, I think that these are two really good figures, especially for those who are big fans of The Simpsons, like I am. I've been watching The Simpsons for many, many years, and to be able to finally have some of these celebrity characters in Simpsons form and collectible action figurine form, it's just a real treat. And I think that the price point on these they're reasonable. Coming from Toys R Us, I really expected them to raise the price on something like this, just like they raised the price with a lot of their toys. But I think $11.99 from something made by NECA for something that gives you some articulation and good paint is a good deal. Now, if you don't want to spend $11.99 on each figure and end up getting the complete series, then I really recommend you look into getting the smaller minifigure ones that are $24 for all of them. Just know that they are 2 inches instead of being around 5 inches, and they also have a plastic base on their feet that I don't think is removable, and I also don't think that they are articulated as well. They're kind of like Disney Infinity figures. They just sit there and look cool. At least I don't think that they can be articulated. May be wrong, but I don't think so. I think they're just static figures. So yeah, you can look into that if you want to just get all of them all at once and spend the same amount of money as you would if you were to buy two of these. So I really like these. I hope that I can eventually find the James Brown figure and the Hugh Hefner figure, which were really the two that I wanted most of all, but I couldn't find them. All I saw were these two, and I saw Tom Hanks and Kid Rock. So yeah, and then as for when the next wave comes out, that's going to be great, and I'm really glad that they created this line. I think that this is good value for your money, and these will definitely stand out on your shelf when you display them. So thanks very, very much for watching. I'm Jeremy, and until next time, I'll see you later.